Thank you all for coming out. You know, we're in a very important season. In my 47 years of living, quite frankly, I've never seen a movement quite like I'm seeing in the country now. I remember nearly 30 years ago sitting in on the steps at Winthrop. Believe it or not, we were protesting then Winthrop's inability to recognize Martin Luther King Day. And at that time, students had to go to school during Martin Luther King Day. And that was a huge feat for us to just want to recognize Martin Luther King Day. Eventually, that became a reality at Winthrop, and the movement somewhat died. Around the state, the March for the Confederate flag, eventually that happened, and the movement died. Then the move to bring the flag down off the state ground, eventually that happened, and the movement died. But now we seem to be in a very different time where this movement doesn't appear that it's going to die. It's people like each of you that's out here now that's interested in our really making a change in our society. And that change, my belief, is that change really comes in the most important way, and that's voting. Many of the policies, procedures, and the things that we are complaining about, we are concerned about, many of those things can simply be fixed at the ballot box with the people that we elect. Now, here recently there's been a lot of discussion, particularly in the district I live in, that there weren't candidates that weren't candidates that were with the particular party that the group in which I was meeting with represented. And I simply told the group, but it's still important to be engaged in the process. It doesn't matter if we have a district that's all Democratic. Democratic candidates should have to come to our community and they should have to earn our vote. And when they don't vote for the things that are important to our community, they should no longer be our representative. Converse to that, Republican candidates. It doesn't matter that I live in a district where all Republicans represent me at every level. I still want Republican candidates to earn my vote and at least be willing to listen to the things that are important to me. With that being said, Tuesday, each of you that live here in this community, particularly if you did not vote in the Democratic primary 2 weeks ago, and you didn't vote at all Tuesday 2 weeks ago, this coming Tuesday, there's an important election going on. There are two Republican candidates running for the Senate seat to represent here. It doesn't matter to me which one of them you vote for. I have my choice, and I can talk to you about that privately. But it doesn't matter that you consider yourselves a Democrat. We, as African Americans particularly, we can't afford to be absent when it comes to the political process. We can't afford in many opportunities to choose sides and pick winners and losers. We've got to be engaged in the process, because if we're not engaged in the process, the issues that are important, particularly to the African American community, are not going to be addressed if a person knows I can get elected and I don't have to come to your community to win. So I say to you this coming Tuesday, if you have not voted in the Democratic primaries 2 weeks ago, or you didn't vote at all 2 weeks ago, you have an election coming up Tuesday. I hope you will research who's in the runoff, what their platforms are, and I hope that you will engage in the process Tuesday, and more importantly, I hope that you will engage in every election moving forward from here. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end here because I understand that I only have 5 minutes. But my brother started this by talking about voter registration. I think it's a travesty in 2020 when we still have people, particularly people of color, and we're here celebrating a Juneteenth, number one, who's not registered to vote, and number two, do not participate in every election that happens, whether local election, state election, or national election. Donald Trump is not the only politician that's going to be running in November. There are a lot of decisions that are made right here at the local level that are important to us and that we have got to engage the process. Thank you all so much, and happy Juneteenth. Hotep, my brothers and sisters.